Hi, this is Denise Miller with Visual Faith Ministry. We had a request to learn how to make roses, and I wanted to show you a few different types. So this type here is the simplest, and even though we have them stacked on top of each other, they're pretty much similar. You have an outside and then the inside spirals around. And another type is you have an outside, maybe not exactly round, and then you start with a little center, do a little swooshy, similar, coming around, but then you have other lines. So I'm going to show you this way as well. Put this off to the side. Let me show you the same similar thing where you have a center area and you're kind of stacking all your flowers around, but here is the rose over here. And I will do another video at a different time to teach how to do a rose without any black lines first. So this is just watercolor. So you can see they do look different. Here are some examples. In this book, I have all my pens to show you in a minute. This is the example similar to the large one that we just did a video on. And it's pretty much kind of a odd, not exactly circle outside, but then you just spin into the middle. I'm thinking that's actually upside down. Let me look to see the other pages. Yep, goes this way. And then this is adding color. And here are the three roses here. Same kind of a wonky outside and then start coming in. Now this is not exactly a circle. It's almost kind of like triangle-y lines, but you're making into the middle, then you get more to the circle. Let's see if I have some other ones in here to show you. No roses there. Nope. So on this page, they're all roses, and I started with a center, a little oval, kind of came down into a triangle, and then from there, I started my lines moving out. Looks like more petals, maybe a little bit less like a rose. Here's one. It's kind of dark. You might not be able to see the lines. Here's three roses. Similar where I started and just worked my way out. It was not one continuous line. As you can see, it looks like I started like this, but then added a few extra lines around it. Gives it a little bit more depth. And I will show you a little bit more how to do it. Now these similar, you start oval, you do your little bottom part, and then everything comes off of there. And you do extra lines like that. So it's not just one spiral. But I would start with the simple in a little bit. Let me see if I have another version in here. Outside, and this is again spiral, and then starting more of the lines, straighter lines. This is just an outside and then very light squiggly lines going around. So as you can see, there's tons of variations. This is the circle in the middle, and then I started adding almost like petals and worked my way out. So while you're playing around and learning how to do these, try all the different types. This one starts with a little spiral and then starts with more of the straight lines going out, working your way out. One continuous line. This one starts with a little bit of a spiral, and then we start into almost like the straight lines, triangle lines. But it is continuous all the way around to about here. Then I added these onto it to mat it, like petals. Okay. And now this variation is, I did a little squiggly in the middle, and then I just started with almost kind of like petal shapes around. And so that's a variation as well. And I thought I had one more variation similar to her hair. This one is more of the circle and then the lines. Same here. So let's leave some of these books out to look at, and let's get going. Let's talk pens. In my common book, the pages are shiny to make them thicker, and so the only thing that I use in there is the Pigma Micron. And I'll show you the numbers. The higher the number in the sense of 1 would be the largest of these sets that goes up higher than that, but and then 01 would be very small. So 08, as you can see, is a pretty thick line. 05, a little bit thinner. 03, even thinner, and then 01, and then there's like 005, which is even thinner. So you can start with one and end with another if you're trying to get dimension. And then in the ballpoint pens that I really like are the Uniball Signo. And let me see which is my smallest. Ultra Micro is thin, and then this is a micro. Oops. Looks almost the same as that one. This is the medium, which is just the 207. And then you have the 207 plus, which is thicker. So just grab any pen out and start. So let's start with the more circular, simple. And you just start in the middle. Start off to the edge. And then you're going to work your way out. Now, as you can see, I am making more of a rectangle-y. I started circle, and then I did a little rectangle-y. Now, if you want to make a little bit depth, I always love to go around and then make little areas that I can then doodle in. If you're a Zentangler or a doodler, second time around, adds little areas that you can do the little lines in, little dots in. Then if you just want to do one without, start small, any of the triangles, more symmetrical look. You just come in and then end it however size you want it. Again, you can do it a second time around and make a few. I'm making a little bit less of these spaces. You can leave it like that, or you can add the little doodles to it. Now you can also at the end add a little depth in the middle by just doing little dots. So there's two ways, and those are the more simplistic ways. So let's take the next level, which might be a little different shape. So as you can see, we have a center, and then we move our way out. So my center would be a little bit of an oval, and then I kind of work my way out, and you can even change a little bit of the shape. you can come around and do your final circle around the outside. You can add extra petals. But by doing this, you have a little bit of a center, more of a center look. So if I was going to go around a second time, to here, I added a petal here, and then I added this little line here. So that is these here. You can also kind of start from the outside in, if you rather. Do kind of like a circle, maybe not exact. You come and do one swoosh line, and then from there, you're going to work your way in. Just gives it more of a pattern. You can even, if you're going to do a stem, would come off this side. So let's look at some of the other variations that I showed you. We have this one where you start in the middle with a little blob. And now you're just going to do some lines around it. Think of petals. And then you're just slowly, if these are small little lines, you're going to slowly make them bigger. Less of a zigzag, more of a wave as you work your way out. If you have an opening, try not to get all the openings at the same. There you go. And then as you can see for the end, you just finally kind of match them up. So I'm going to come around here and do a big swoosh. Start a little bit past that. Swoosh in. And then you have a finished one. And then you can come back and do your second lines where you darken a few of them. You can even do some doodle lines if you want, or you can add a little lines that make it look a little bit like petals. But play with it. See how you end up liking it. So it's a little bit more abstract-y. So let's look through and see. This is, again, would be this one. And none on there. Okay, we haven't done this one yet. So we're going to start with our oval, and then we start with the bottom part. You can make it pointed, round, more like a cone, and then you're just going to start out from there. You come swooshing around, and then you just start adding. Instead of starting here, you're going to start up a little bit and come around. And then you're just making these bigger and bigger. You can do a shape if you want. A little more of a, not a straight line is what I'm trying to say. And then you come back in and you either do dots or little lines in the middle. And as always, I enjoy going it around a second time. This is a very thick one. I'm doing it so that you can see it. Normally I would do a little bit less thickness, and that way my double little areas that I would come back to doodle in are less bold, because this is kind of bold, so it's kind of filling in a lot of the little spaces that I would have. There you go. So let's come back in here for, this one has a double side. Think of like a little M, and I did a little middle, and then I just kind of did M's all the way around. So let's try that. We have our little middle section, and then we just kind of, almost looks like a butterfly it starts out with. And then all you're going to do is little M's all the way around. and then do your middle. And then this one you can add lines too, if you want it to make it look more flowery, like a directional of the leaves. This one is the cone shaped, and this is just the kind of wonky lines. Now this is fun because it's just lines going around. You're starting in the middle and maybe just start in a circle and then just start going out and out and out and out and out. And then at the last part, just kind of go around a few times. You can come in and add little dots or something in the middle. But those are fun, very easy to do. This is the started with a circle and then kind of went out. But instead of just one continuous line, I kind of made sure they hit each other. So let's do that one. Start with a little circle, and then my lines are going to touch, come around, touch, out where they're touching. Doesn't have to be each time you go around. And then you end with filling in the end to get a circle. And if I were to switch pens to something smaller, let's see. This is where you, when on the parts where you turn is where you can add those little open areas. And any part you don't like, you just touch again, go over a second time, and usually it covers up any part that you didn't like. There you go, and then you have all your little areas to do stuff in. Okay, let's see if we have another one. I think we've hit most of them. This is similar to this one here. This is the spiral one, which was right here. I just made the some of the lines a little bit more noticeable. So if I went back to this one, I could come through and make a couple of them noticeable, but you still have the other little lines that are going around. So that's a variation. Let's see if we have any other variations. This is a little bit similar to this. It's just a little bit, let's see, thinner lines. So let's grab a, let's see if this one will work. Same thing, scribble, circle. And then instead of keep going around and around and around, it was more, but lots of different lines. Finishing with this little heavier border and then working your way back in. There you go. So that was similar to one of the other, this one here. Just a little bit different in the sense of there's more kind of squiggly lines that are going around. Let's see, final ones. This was just painted and then the outline, so it really is more of a painted one then. This is similar. I just made more oblong lines and then a circle. And then the buds. Let's quickly do a bud. So a bud, you're just going to start oval again. And then you're going to kind of go out a little bit. And then you're going to come down and up. And then the big thing is you just add a petal on the side. and you got yourself a bud. You can do a petal on this side if you want as well as a variation. You can make this smaller and then go out. But those are all then buds. As you can see from here, you can add some more lines. Okay, I think we've hit most of the roses again here. Now, in everything I've shown you, I've pretty much done it in the middle. So let's start one that's a little off and start your middle and start coming out one direction more. And what that does is it puts the center up here. So you can do all your center smack in the middle, but if you're looking for a variety and it to be a little bit more like what you would see in nature, change where your center is. Off to one side, it looks like it's facing this way. If you did it circle like this, it looks like it's facing that direction. And I will make another video sometime on leaves that you can add. But have fun with your roses. Try lots and lots of different types. Find kind of one that you like. I mean, I like them all, so I do them all differently. But, you know, practice, play around with them. We'd love to see what you do on our Facebook page, which is facebook.com/groups/Visual Faith Ministry. Or you can comment on these videos if you have any questions.